it was like, how we do this now? Seriously, we were saying, okay, I hold him here, you hold the head, and then you chop. And then Thierry was supposed to chop, so I held the chicken and he held the head. Poor chicken. I mean, I'm still sorry for it. I apologize up to this day to that chicken. We got ourselves a little rum and get some courage together, and seriously, it happened about 4 or 5 times that we changed around and none of us could do the chop. None of us could do the chop. So until finally, I think the alcohol kind of chipped in, and Thierry finally did it. You know, it's like, fuck! And I was so, huh? And I let the chicken go, and the headless chicken was flying all over the place. Yosha Yosha one day, he started to crawl. Go straight in the garden, of course, because I figured that's where he went, and couldn't find him right away neither, because he crawled fast around the corner where all the chicken were. And I see him sitting down, very content, and taking something off the grass and put in his mouth, you know. And when I went there, what did he eat? Chicken shit.
Hey my lovelies, it's your girl Mel. Welcome back to my channel. We are here with mommy, so now I already know, so it's another story time with mommy. Story time with mommy.
So let me start. Well, today is another few little stories of my life in the countryside, and after Yosha was born, and a few little stories. That's it. I mean, it is within the time frame, so I figured we would do that. So we were living in the countryside, as I was saying. We had a big garden, and we decided to have some animals apart from our dogs and cats. So we got some chicken, and the people that we are, what we tried is we didn't buy them new, but what we got is chicken that came from a egg farm, which means these chicken had been sitting on a piece of stick, if you want, their whole life. They couldn't move. They were just locked up. They were sitting like this on the stick, and so then like when they lay their eggs, they would just drop into something and get transported off. So at that time, our conscience said, okay, if anything, and they would be killed after certain time. So we got them from a place like that, practically free, because I mean they were killing them anyway. And we brought them home. Those poor animals, they couldn't even walk, because sitting like this, their nails, because chicken have nails as well, you know, only when they walk, they will, not that long, but I mean they will scrape off. That's how they scrape too. Plus, sitting like that, their feet kind of got distorted. So when we got them, they couldn't even walk, so we had to very carefully take them and straighten out their feet again, which I guess was hurtful for them. They didn't like it at all, but we did it very, very tender and carefully, not all at once neither. And then where we were, they would live in a stable. In the day, the door would be open and they could walk out and pick whatever they wanted in the garden. So it took them a few days to get adjusted, and actually we got to feed them to straighten so they could walk again.
Were the nails like overgrown, or?
Well, they were not that long really, but it was like it kind of manifested itself like this.
Okay.
So they started to come out of the stable. At first they were very, very shy. They didn't want to come out at all, and then they started, and you could directly see they barely had feathers left. Yeah, that too. I mean they looked awful when we got them.
So
I seriously was thinking, I don't think they will ever come back, you know, but we tried. And believe you me, after a few days or weeks, the feathers grew back. They could walk again, and what they did, they started to lay eggs like crazy. I mean, honestly, I had one of them. I think we had about 5 of them. One of them, they would all lay 2 eggs a day, you know. So they really thanked her. They were the happiest chicken on earth at that point in time, trust me, because after a while, once they got adjusted and realized, oh, this is our new life, you know, they were so happy, and we got excellent eggs.
How many did you get?
About 5 of them. We didn't have that many, but I mean, look here, if you get 5-6 eggs a day, that's good, you know. That is a good amount. Right now I have 2 chicken here. We get 2 eggs a day. And we can't even really follow up because we don't eat that many eggs. So we right now we have a dozen eggs lying here, fresh, because we don't really use them up that quick. So they were happy like what. Then we decided to raise our own chicken to eat. Because what happened, I mean, even at that point in time, we started already to be a little bit health conscious, and we knew that the chicken meat that you get in the supermarket was kind of maybe laced with antibiotics and other stuff, you know. And so we said, we have the stables, we have the place, why not try it ourselves? So we got 50 little ones and put them up in one of the stable and raised them, and then we really, I mean, they grew nicely, and you know, they don't take that long. They take about 3 months. We gave them 3 months because we didn't give them any power food or anything, you know. They just got normal feeding, and we didn't let those out because 50 chicken in your garden, that's not possible. So those were inside, but they got their water, they were fed, they had a good time. We had a little rat problem at one point in time in the beginning where rats squeezed through and actually stole 3 of them, killed them and stole them, and we were like, whoa. Then we reinforced the entire thing, and then everything was fine after. But now the time came, what to do with them? We have to kill them. And being again the people that we were, we said, okay, we raise them, we want to eat them, so we have to kill them as well, ourselves. Because I could have called in some other people for that and say, okay, here you get a few and then kill the rest. But we said, no, we have to do that because it's only fair. We want to eat them, then I mean, we have to kind of give them that transition as well. So one day now, we decided to start.
Like they would say, oh, it's our owners killing us, so it's okay.
No, it was for us, for our conscience, and you know, because it's like,
I know, but you're saying that they
the reason why I say that too, because when we announced that we had those chicken and we would kill them and eat them, everyone was like, oh my god, how can you kill them? No, that is so cruel, that is so. And we were like, yeah, it's cruel, of course, but I mean, it's life, you know. I mean, we brought them in to eat them, and at least we raise them, we eat them. It's not like they are raised commercially, or and even although they were locked up in the stable, they didn't have a bad life at all. They could move around and have fun if you want. So the day came. Now we decided, all right, we are going to kill our first one. Believe me, it was the hardest thing to do. What we did, actually, we got a bottle of rum. It was in plain daytime. It was Thierry and me alone. Well, Yosha was somewhere around. And we took out one, and then we were going to chop off the head with an axe. So we had because we had our chopper, we had the axe, we had everything, because we were chopping our own wood for our ovens. So it was like, how we do this now? Seriously, we were saying, okay, I hold him here, you hold the head, and then you chop. And then Thierry was supposed to chop, so I held the chicken and he held the head. Poor chicken, I mean, I'm still sorry for it. I apologize up to this day to that chicken. Because what happened, he was standing there and, no, I can't do this. You try. And I said, me? So, vice versa, him held the chicken, I held the head. I was going to I can't do it neither.
Imagine them attack
the poor chicken, trust me. So what happened now? We got ourselves a little rum and get some courage together, and seriously, it happened about 4 or 5 times that we changed around and none of us could do the job. None of us could do the job. So until finally, I think the alcohol kind of chipped in, and Thierry finally did it. You know, it's like, fuck! And I was so, huh? And I let the chicken go, and the headless chicken was flying all over the place. So that alone was another one. We were standing there like, oh my god. You know, we had to practically chase after it. It flew pretty far, you know, without a head. And then it was like, okay, we did this one. And then
actually, 46 more to go.
Which 6 more we had?
46.
Oh, 46 more to go, exactly. Actually, after the first one, I mean, we really got we crossed the threshold, or how you want to call it. After that, it was working fine. We didn't kill all of them at once. We did about, I don't know, 15 at the first. Because, you know, then after killing them, you have to prepare them. You cannot just have them. So I had this big pot of boiling water and dunked them into in order to get off the feathers. It was a lot of work, trust me. I mean, having your own chicken, killing them to eat, it's a lot of work. Then you have to open them and take out the intestines and everything. Actually, interestingly, that part wasn't that bad. That wasn't that bad. The plucking too, I mean, it smelled like wet feathers. Don't smell that nice neither. So, but we were outside the whole time and did everything. And the rum bottle went down more and more and more and more, you know. So, and we were more merry and every minute too. So finally we got our first 15 chicken plucked and prepared, if you want. And we had a little freezer at the time because my mother gave us a freezer for the birth of Yosha. That was her birthday gift. Well, she said, well guys, you have to do something now with your food, so here's our freezer. So we had space to put them in and then start to eat our first chicken that night, our first self-raised, self-killed, self-plucked chicken. And it was delicious as far as I remember. And then, well, so after that, of course, like I said, we crossed that bridge, and then after that it got much easier to do what we had to do. And basically we were proud of ourselves too, because we said, hey look, at least we are fair enough to go the whole way with them, you know, instead of just going to the supermarket and buying them and not even knowing how they look alive. And then, like, as my friend said, oh my god, you're just so cruel, how can you do that? Well, I think it was a fair thing to do, you know. I don't know honestly if I could kill a chicken nowadays again. I might have to start the same thing again.
You have ducks.
I have ducks here right now. Yeah, what am I gonna do with them?
So
I might have to call in somebody to do that, because I might not be able to do that, because you change through the years too, you know. So that was the story with our first chicken farming. And then at one springtime, there was this big farmers market near us, and we went there, and it was like March. It was still pretty cold, and we saw these little ducklings, and one was like especially cute, really black, tiny still, you know. So we said, oh, I think we go buy this one. And then we bought it, and we got 2 more ducks, which are called in German Laufenten, because what they do, you know, the normal duck form, they were up like this, like their belly was to the front, not underneath.
Like a chicken.
Yeah, almost like a chicken, exactly. Only a duck.
Yeah.
So we got a pair of that as well, brought them home, but it was cold still. So we brought them inside overnight. I didn't leave them in the stable. It was really cold at night, and I had them in a box behind the oven. So they had a nice and cozy place, and they became pretty much tame. What we used to do, we take them out in the morning and let them run over the kitchen table. You know, we were sitting around the table. We were quite a few people always, and running over it, and it was so funny. I mean, we called the black one Ernestina, and the other 2 didn't even have a name. But what happened now, once it got warmer, we put them out. Of course, they went in the stable, and after a while they started to nest. And that was so cute because Ernestina didn't have a male. She was alone, but then the couple started to nest. So what Ernestina did, she decided, okay, we'll go sit with them, with her. So the two of them sat on the white duck eggs. So they shared, if you want. That was so cute. In the meantime, we had dug a little hole in outside in the garden, put in some soil, and gave them a little pond. So every morning, especially after the ducklings were born, that was the cutest thing on earth. What happened? We opened the stable. They come out. Ernestina first, then the male duck, then the female duck, and then 7 little ducklings behind, all in one line. They did not come out like spill out, you know. No, one line. The entire line walked straight to the pond, right? And then they started to bathe and drink and whatever. But it was the cutest sight on earth, trust me. Like, first, Ernestina was like the black one and low, and then the two big ones, ducks, you know, behind her, and then the little, I tell you, that was so nice. Those memories are still stuck with me until this day, of course, because of that.
So the ones that we have, those would be like the loaf?
No, those are normal ducks.
Those are the loaf, but they're up too.
Not much. No, man, loaf, and they even look slim because they almost look like penguin, but they are ducks.
Oh,
that much up there. Not quite. They still have the little butty part in the back going round. I can't explain. Maybe we can find a picture and show them. But I mean, like I said, that was so wonderful and cute, and we enjoyed it so much. Also, we got some geese, a pair of geese. Now, guys, if you have space in a garden and you need a watchdog, geese are the best watchdogs. Trust me, because nobody could enter our yard that they did not know. Nobody. They would go and then and geese are pretty big, as you know, right? So they spread their wings. It would go like this, you know, and go straight towards the person and frighten them off. I mean, I was like in awe. I said, whoa, we don't need no dogs anymore. We have geese. But the problem was, Yosha at that time was very small still, and he was just crawling around and like barely getting up. And those geese kind of decided to not really attack him, but they would go towards him. The same thing with the wings flapping, and they wouldn't, or they would bite too, by the way. If they get you, they would bite you too. They wouldn't bite him, but it come like, I don't know what the problem was, but they could not really grasp that he was a child of the house and they shouldn't attack him. They did not do anything to us, the adults, but for some reason,
maybe because he was smaller than them,
maybe that they could not really understand what was going on. So the end effect was that we had to get rid of them because, of course, I couldn't make them hurt my son. I think we gave them away though. We didn't kill them or anything. We just gave them away, and that was that part of. But seriously, guys, if you ever need a watchdog and you can afford that, perfect, as long as you don't have children in the yard. So that was this story. Now after that, Yosha Yosha one day he started to crawl, and well, he was born in summer, so it was the next year coming to spring, and it was getting warmer, and he was crawling around. He didn't walk yet. And then my kitchen door, as soon as it get warm and the sun came out, we would leave the kitchen door open. At the same time, of course, we had chicken, we had duck, we had this, we had that. And one day I think I was busy at the stove and turned around for 1 minute and did not watch him, because he was pretty swift when he started to crawl. And suddenly I turned around, Yosha gone. And I was like, oh my God, where's this picnic now? go straight in the garden, of course, because I figured that's where he went, and couldn't find him right away neither, because he crawled fast around the corner where all the chicken were. And I see him sitting down, very content, and taking something off the grass and put in his mouth, you know. And when I went there, what did he eat? Chicken shit. I was like, oh my god, I hope it doesn't get poisoned or nothing. So I just pick him up and wash out his mouth as much as I could. But of course he did swallow some already. Well, we all know it didn't kill him. He's still alive and he's strong and strapping, and he never got sick really. So I guess it
Yosha's going to be like, Mom, did you really have to tell that part of the story?
Well, it's part of our life that time. So basically then the summer after, the next summer, Yosha was born in 78. Now the summer 79, we decided to go to on our yearly trip to France and so on. This time we decided we would go all the way down to Portugal as well. And as it happened is, like, Thierry's brother, who lived in Switzerland, he wanted to join us. And two of his friends wanted to, the brother and a friend of us wanted to join us from Switzerland. And we had this other couple. He was, I told you about these people already actually before. She was the lady that was a Jew and was feeling insecure when she visited us because we were Germans. And her boyfriend was an artist, American born, lived in France and in Germany, so he spoke 3 languages fluent. And so practically the 6 of us, plus Yosha, plus 2 dogs, decided to take this trip together using our VW bus where Thierry, me and Yosha would sleep in. The others had tents, but the driving part would be all together in that car. So we did go to Switzerland first, picked up the brother and the friend. And mind you, at that point in time, nowadays we have the EU, you travel through Europe, you don't have any borderline anymore, you don't have to show no passport, nothing. But at that point in time, we still had that. So we entered from Germany to Switzerland, one German, one German child, and 1 Swiss. No problem. Going on. Pick up those 2 guys. Now we had 3 Swiss, 1 German, and a German child. Oh, and 2 dogs, of course. I needed my papers for the dogs too, you know. So we had to show those, so like they were vaccinated and stuff. So we had to show that too. Then we passed the border to France from Switzerland and traveled away and met with the other 2 now. Now, Bert had an American passport, Cathy had a French passport, then 3 Swiss passport, and me and Yosha German passport, and the 2 dogs. So now you can imagine, anytime we had to pass a border, the custom people, they were standing there, go, what? You know? It was so funny. We always had really fun at those points. So we started to travel through France, our as usual road, stopped here and there, and then they would build up their tents, and then we could cook in the van, and so we had a pretty good holiday at the time. Now past the Spanish border again, like what, you know, and it's like driving through Spain. And shortly before the border to Portugal, we came high up in the Sierra Nevada. We came to a very small village, and we just stopped there. And because there was so much commotion in that little village, you know, there was a big party going on. So we just stopped, and people stopped us actually and said, hey, hi. And we told them where we came from. They invited us to join the wedding. So we sat there, we ate and we drank, and we had a wonderful time with these people. They were so hospitable and so friendly. I mean, it was wonderful. We really, really enjoyed that, although none of us spoke Spanish. So I don't even know how we really communicated, but between French and Spanish, and you know, it's like, it was possible. And then belly full and satisfied, enough liquor in us, we continued our little journey. A little after we passed the Spanish-Portugal border again with the passports, you know. On the side, when we were up there, at that time the summer was very, very dry. There were huge fires, forest fires, huge. I mean, there was this whole area, you saw nothing but smoke and flames, and the whole forest burned down completely. We were pretty far from it still, but we could see it because we were high up. So we entered Portugal, and then we went to, where did we go first?
So those forest fires were in Spain?
They were still in between, going into Portugal. So it was like overboarding both countries. So then we stopped at Lisbon first, and what was so fascinating for me in Lisbon was the houses there were tiled outside, like what we would use as bathroom tiles, with ornaments even, and all of them had ornaments on them, and they would put that on the houses outside. So I found that extremely fascinating. Of course, it was very colorful, it was very pretty, and easy to clean. You know, all you have to do every few months, you spray down the house and you have a clean house, you know, and that's it. But that was one of the things that I really remember almost the most about Lisbon, which, like I say, I love that town. We went on from there to Porto. Porto is the place where the port wine comes from. So of course we went into one of the caves and did a tour, and got a lot of port wine to taste. I mean, it was a nice tour, we liked it, we enjoyed it. I think we even bought 1 or 2 bottles there as well. And then we went on down, further down, south. And then I remember one day we went into a small, mostly at that time Portugal was very poor. In the countryside, I mean, people didn't have much. You could see it, that they were suffering. And so we, of course, we bought our stuff all over the place and tried to go eat sometime in a restaurant, although we didn't have much money neither. But we stopped at this little village, and I remember when they saw Yosha. Yosha at the time was blonde. I mean, he did not have any dark hair. He was white blonde almost. He was a year old. Just started to walk. I mean, just started to wobble around on his own, you know. And we came into this restaurant and they saw Yosha, and in Portugal most people have black hair, you know, so blonde children were pretty much unusual. And they were, oh, Nino, and they practically grabbed him out of my arm, took him, and I was like, hey, what are you doing with my baby? You know, but they were, so, again, very friendly, very hospitable. We were sitting at the table. We got
very friendly. Give me your child.
No,
I know.
After I got over my initial shock, they took him right in the kitchen. Right, we were sitting outside. We did order. I remember a fish soup, because I was a specialty of that area, and apparently this restaurant was famous for it. So we ordered that, and my child was still gone. They took him in the kitchen. I didn't even see him at all, you know, but I knew by that time everything was cool. And when we started to eat, they came back with Yosha, and whole mouth full with chocolate and other stuff. I mean, he was grinning from ear to ear, you know, he was really happy there. And we had this wonderful meal, and I could eat in peace for once, not holding a child on my lap that was squiggling around. So I enjoyed that too. So that was a wonderful memory as well. Then we went further down. You know that in Faro is the southern, or is it Lagos? Lagos is the southernmost point of Portugal, of Europe, not only Portugal. It's the southernmost point of Europe. Anything that come after is Africa. So basically, what we heard, when we were there on a good day, you could even look over to Gibraltar. We didn't have that luck. It was kind of hazy at that day.
You could look over to Africa.
You could look over to Africa, and it was the definite most southernmost point. So of course we felt like, we're on the most southern point, and we felt good. And then we continued further down the coast there. And what happened too at the time, I around when we went on, I suddenly got this tonsillitis. I was like feeling sick like dog. I had fever, my throat was, which I used to have tonsillitis quite often as a child, as a young girl, and now I caught one again. So I was laying in the back of the van, basically of the bus, and couldn't move for a while. Feeling bad, feeling nauseous, feeling really awful. And we stopped at this one place, I don't remember the name, which was at the time deserted, but we found out that they wanted to build a hotel there. And again, being the people that we were, and we met a few other people, same traveling like we, in buses and camping there as well. So we became a pretty big group of people at that point in time, because we used then to put up a fire in the evening, everybody chip in and we cook together and eat together and have fun. And they started to bring in some machinery to dig out. We were right by a river, to dig out by the river to build this hotel. And now some in this group, now there were some pretty militant people, you know, because they saw that machinery and said, no, we can't allow them to start work, you know, we have to do something. So one of them went on one of the tractor, or how you call them, bagger? Tractors, and took out the spark plug. So when they came the next morning now and just wanted to start it, the thing didn't start. And until they found out what was the problem. All we had packed up and we decided to move together to another place. So we just left. We just said, okay, you'll find out what's the problem. I mean, our group didn't really, we were there, we kind of approved, but we didn't really do the action. But still, we were about to trust now four buses with people in it. And on one of the buses was a girl from Berlin, actually at that time still from East Berlin, and she told me her story. What she did is she wanted to go to West Germany, and at that point in time, if you wanted to do that, if you wouldn't get the permission to leave East Germany at all. So what people decided to do is run away. And what she did, she swam over a river, a broad river, because on one side was East Germany, the other side was West. She was 6 months pregnant at the time, and that's why she wanted to leave East Germany so badly, that she risked basically her life. And while she swam over, of course at night, and then she wasn't alone, so I think it was 3 people. And the East Germans realized after a while that people were swimming, and she got shot at. They fired after her. That's what they would do at that point in time from the East. If anybody tried to run and you didn't stop when they called you, they would shoot you. Now, luckily they did not get them. They did not hit them. So she reached over there now safe, and since then she lived in Berlin and was integrated in the West, gave birth to her baby, and that baby was so pretty, you wouldn't believe. I mean, beautiful eyes, beautiful. But that baby had a heart problem. So basically it was good that she came to the West, because they could operate on her and they could save her life. And
East Germany was the worst.
East Germany was?
The worst side?
Was a communist side. They built the wall in '62 to separate themselves from the West. The West was a capitalistic part. The East was a communistic part. And the East did not want anything to do with the western part of Germany. And I was West, and she wanted to come to the West. Because in Eastern Germany they had a lot of hardship going through, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like
there was really a lot of, they didn't have enough food, they didn't have not necessarily poorer, but they were kind of segregated from the rest of the world because nobody even wanted to give it. Like banana, if bananas bananas don't grow in Germany, right? So they would have to be imported. If they ever get banana in the east of Germany, people would have a line and wait for them to get a 2 banana, you know. They were kind of only handed out little too. They didn't have anything.
So they were
at that
like
point
a
in
luxury.
time. That was a complete luxury. And in on the western side of Germany, bananas were an everyday thing. You know, you would go in the supermarket and could buy 10 kilo if you wanted.
Okay.
Only over there. So there's a lot of people that tried to run away over the years. There's a lot of people who got shot and died. There's a lot of people who got caught and went to prison for that. You would go to prison if you get caught. So it was a real rough time. So I really, when I met that girl and what she did and for her baby too and stuff, I was like in awe. I was admiring her greatly for this. So we reached one next village, and I remember too, this village was right behind a huge eucalyptus forest. And you know eucalyptus, how it smells, right? Like mint a bit. Can you imagine you pass a forest of eucalyptus? I mean, it was like, whoa, this aroma that came out. So we stopped at that village and everybody was hungry and they had a little restaurant there. So we stopped at the restaurant and I had one big table because we were about 15 people also. And then the owner came and they were happy. Oh, we get customers, yeah. And they cooked us a fabulous meal and we started. People from the village would come in, men from the village, not women, but men would come in and join. I mean, first sit on the side, and the more the evening progressed, the more friendly we became with them because everybody was, of course, interested in everybody. Until even the owner of the restaurant walked around with a bottle of clear liquor. It's called aguardiente. And he just held up the bottle and he said, would pass and say, open your mouth, open your mouth. You would do it. You would hold the bottle more and show the liquor right in your mouth. Right like that, you know. And everybody, I mean, it wouldn't touch our mouth, you know. And he threw it like for this high, but he was very good. It didn't splash in our face. It went straight in the mouth. So, can you imagine? Somebody turning the table, like, I don't know how many times they went around and say, open your mouth, open your mouth. So, of course, all of us, including the other people from the village that were there, everybody, the entire place, you know, and we didn't even pay for the liquor. It was like on the house, if you want. We paid, of course, for our other stuff that we had. But what happened then, everybody was really kind of tipsy is not the right word for it, but it sounds nicer. So we all went to sleep in our respective buses. We had parked them somewhere near, and everybody went to sleep. So the next morning we got up and we wanted to buy some bread and stuff and continue our way. So we went in the local supermarket, which was a small place too, and were met by quite a few women of the village. Now those women weren't pleased at all to see us because we caused their husbands to get stone stiff drunk the evening before. So basically the men loved us and the women were like, it's better if you leave, you know. Just get out of here. So we kind of we basically apologized and we said, okay, but you know, it was not really our mistake, it just happened and you guys were so nice and so please forgive us for that, you know. Which eventually they cooled down a bit, but the first, if looks could kill, all of us would be dead, you know. Dead. So after that we continued our journey, and then after a while even after this village we separated. Everybody went their own way, and then what we did, we just went up back the coast, the inside, through the inside of the country, and went back to France, and then back to Switzerland, and back to Germany. All in all, that trip was about, again, 6-7 weeks, like we always went. But I felt queasy and weary and didn't feel so good. So when we reached home, I took a pregnancy test, and guess what? Sabina was pregnant again. And that's it for today.
So yeah, guys, Mommy had a bunch of small funny stories today. So as she said, that is it for today's story time. I guess the next, I don't know who's coming next, right? Who's coming next? Flower Boss, right? But yeah, that is it for today's story time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.